The National Executive Committee, I think you saw in the National Executive Committee statement that all the conferences that will be held this year should be done before June in anticipation of rollout of the program of elections of the African National Congress. Now, we have agreed as the Provincial Executive Committee that all the regions that are supposed to be having regional conferences this year, it will be your Krisan, it will be your Sarah Batman, it will be your BCM, it will be and others, or RGC, Joe Gabi Regional Conference, Alfred Nzo RGC, Nelson Mandela Regional Conference. All those particular regions that are holding should be held before June 2018. Now, we have got a plan in respect of that particular matter, and we have agreed and adopted that. What will be outstanding is the consultation meeting between ourselves and the constituent branches per region, so that we can agree with them about the necessity to hold those particular regional general councils, or those electing regional general council, and those regional conferences in respective regions that I talked about. But also we made an assessment of local government. Local government. We agreed that because in terms of the ANC constitution, there is a role that is played by the Provincial Executive Committee, which role also is played by the regional executive committees. Such roles include the monitoring and of the work of the branches, sub-regions, the assessment of the work of the caucuses of the African National Congress and local government. Now, that role is done both by the PEC and RC. We have decided that because of the elements of chaos in some of the municipalities, the Provincial Executive Committee takes over certain functions. Part of those functions is to oversee all the caucuses of the African National Congress and local governments in terms of all the district municipalities and all the metros. So the PEC will be seized with that. Because of the challenges in Makana, in Sarah Batman, and challenges in Kouha municipality, the Provincial Executive Committee, in terms of Sarah Batman, it will take over those particular municipalities. Because of the chaos and problems in Amatole, both in the district municipality of Amatole, where the functionality, the financial stability of that particular municipality is under question, the leadership of the ANC Provincial will take over. Because of problems in all the local municipalities, dysfunctionality of the caucus of the ANC, problems in troikas, problems of discharging the responsibility of serving the people, we are taking over the municipalities in the Amatole region, all the constituent municipalities. In OR Tambo, we have agreed that the King Sabat Telingiabo needs us as urgent as possible as the Provincial Executive Committee. So we will do the monitoring and oversight of that particular municipality. And we are also going to make an intervention in the Port St. John's municipality. I think you all know that there has been some instability which has caused people to suffer in terms of the service delivery in Port St. John's. The Provincial Executive Committee has agreed that we should tamper with the current mode of operations in that particular municipality. In Walter Sisulu, the recent one in Jogabe, you have seen that between the 22nd up to the 26th of December, cars crossing through that Free State River, Orange River, were unable to cross, and people were stuck there. Now, because of inefficiencies, but secondly, because of financial inviability and problems of the leadership in that particular municipality, we have agreed that we take over the oversight of that particular municipality and also make some tempering in terms of the current leadership in that particular municipality. What it means, comrades, it means on the basis of the evaluation that will be done by the Provincial Deployment Committee, we may have to change the mayor, the speaker, or alternatively the chief whip. But that responsibility has been given to the officials working with the Provincial Deployment Committee. So we are going to discharge that particular responsibility in the interest of the peoples of that particular municipality. We are also going to do the same in terms of Butterworth. I think that's your question, Umnuma. everybody is concerned about the state of that particular municipality. And I think we have left that decay for some time at the Provincial Executive Committee, from the previous Provincial Executive Committee to the current one. There is nothing that seems to be stabilizing. Now we have taken a view that we should make effect changes in the leadership of that particular municipality, including the changes both in the Troika and Executive Council of that particular municipality. So we are going to effect those particular changes. I'm sure by the 14th day we should have effected such changes, or alternatively come back to the Provincial Executive Committee to give report about the effect of the changes that we have proposed. I think it will be 4 municipalities in the main, the Lukanji one, Inokumkijima, Sequencestown. So it will be 4 municipalities: Port St. John's, Mnoma, Inokumkijima, then up there at Walter Sisulu. We are exercising that particular responsibility on the basis of powers vested in the Provincial Executive Committee of the African National Congress, and the responsibility bestowed upon us by the peoples of Eastern Cape to make necessary intervention in the interest of the peoples of the Eastern Cape. The other issue that we agreed about, colleagues, is that is the necessity to work with the Youth League, Veterans League, and ANC Women's League, Youth League, Women's League, and Veterans League, to ensure that their capacity to discharge the responsibilities bestowed upon them by the Constitution of the ANC, insofar as their sectors, specific sectors are concerned, they do those particular. What we'll do is to, as a Provincial Executive Committee, deploy certain cadres from the Provincial Executive Committee to work with them to ensure that they adhere to the constitutional responsibilities bestowed upon them. On the Integrity Commission, the Provincial Integrity Commission had some cases that they were charged with. Now we have just agreed that the Integrity Commission should do everything in their power to conclude those particular cases before them as soon as possible. In particular, of those comrades of the African National Congress that have some responsibility, added responsibilities assigned to them, so that there is nothing hanging upon those particular ANC cadres, whether they are deployed or leaders of the ANC. There is nothing hanging, cloud hanging over their heads as they discharge the responsibility of the African National Congress. It is necessary so that as we continue with the year of renewal, unity, and jobs, there is nothing sinister said about this particular leader or against that particular leader. So we have agreed that that particular unit of the African National Congress must discharge its own responsibilities. And we have also said to those individuals, they must be compliant. They must subject themselves to internal structures of the African National Congress, in particular the Integrity Commission. So we have beefed them up, and we have ensured that in terms of the Constitution, we give them responsibilities signed off by the provincial leadership of the African National Congress. The provincial government, she's telling corruption was and so. I want to still admitted ultimately in the provincial government, and as a result, the was chairman of the committee. On the provincial government, we have made some assessment. Part of the assessment is the relationship that is not smooth sailing between the Provincial Executive Committee of the African National Congress and the provincial government of the Eastern Cape. I think we are clear that the relationship are not good. We have agreed that we should continue to try to work for a consolidation of the relations. It's necessary that we work on it. But the second issue is that we are not convinced that the capacity of the provincial government in order to discharge the responsibilities, policies of the African National Congress, in particular coming from the provincial resolution from the Provincial Conference of the African National Congress, National Conference of the 54th anniversary of the African National Congress, and second January 8th statement. Then we have agreed that the Provincial Working Committee, working with the provincial officials, should make a thorough assessment and make proposals about reconfiguration of the provincial government, meaning which tampering with the deployment of the provincial government of the Eastern Cape. Now we have taken that particular decision. In implementing that particular decision, there is a necessity that the provincial officials meet with the national officials of the African National Congress to make that particular presentation, concur with them, and therefore charge that particular responsibility. Now, we'll do those things in line with the ANC resolutions, that it should be done in line with that. That will also be applicable to also other positions within the provincial legislature, wherein there is a charge in terms of the ANC resolution that this particular position is supposed to be occupied by a member of the Provincial Executive Committee. But when we are ready with that, we will be able to brief the media accordingly, so that but we are also almost implementing the ANC resolutions in respect of that particular matter. Insofar as the actual names of people that the ANC Provincial Executive Committee proposes as part of the reconfiguration of the provincial government in order to enhance the capacity, ensure that there is compliance with the unity that we are speaking about, renewal, and ensuring that there is creation of job opportunities in the year of Nelson Mandela. We will come back to you to say these are the people that we think are not fit to discharge the responsibility of the ANC in the Eastern Cape, when we have agreed with the national leadership of the ANC, in particular the national officials. Yeah, Zeno, President. You're not telling almost. Yes. President, I think there is a new hype in the media about the future of the state president. Now, we have been briefed in the meeting about the resolution of the National Executive Committee insofar as charging the national officials to work with the president on the mechanisms of managing the relationship. I think that's that. But what we are concerned about as the Eastern Cape is that they must fast track that particular process and take into cognizance the sentiments raised by people of South Africa. People of South Africa are making calls, and the ANC should be seen to be acting in tandem with the cause of the people of South Africa. And I will just leave it in that particular position, that the ANC should be sensitive to the sentiments raised by the South African people and act as quick as possible. This is in the interest of both the ANC and the people of South Africa. After the elections of Ramaphosa, you can see that even the rand stabilized and the economy is taking a better shape. And secondly, the investors that have left South Africa are coming back to South Africa in a very promising. The former president of the ANC, Thabo Mbeki, has also affirmed the necessity to support the ANC in its trajectory. Even the former leader of the opposition himself, Tony Leon, support the president because I think we have a better platform as the African National Congress. That is why the National Executive Committee, particularly national officials, should act in accordance with the sentiments and the expectations of the South African population. We are speaking about that so that the national officials should not speak past each other about that particular matter. They should send one message, a decisive message to the people of South Africa, so that we can always be know about what the ANC is going to do about a particular issue at the table. So we are not going to make any comments beyond that in respect of this particular matter. Then on fighting against corruption and greed, we have talked about the issue of Alfred Nzo. We have talked about the Estina Dairy, that Hawks must never to Bapa, they concluded that particular work. Ofuneke banjwe, ANC Integrity Commission, as well Integrity Commission, and also every institution that is of state should be able to discharge its responsibility without malice, but at the same time without fear or favor. I think that's that. But secondly, there is a circulation of issues around the 631 million Amatole project. If the Hawks colleagues are making investigation about that particular matter, we wish that they could fast track it so that there could be certainty about the future of Amatole and those people that were working for Amatole or that are working for Amatole. It is necessary that if there is something that was untoward that was done, those that are implicated must be charged accordingly. I think it's necessary that we talk about that particular matter. We are on the side of law in respect of this particular matter. Law must take its own course in respect of every aspect that is untoward. The ANC has taken a new leaf of ensuring that what is right must be done, what is wrong must be punished. Yeah. Yes, the last issue, it will be Nelson Mandela scandal. I think it's the second discussion that we have about this particular matter. I think we are on record saying all government entities, provincial government, and all the municipalities that are implicated, Nelson Mandela, King Sabbat Dangebo, Buffalo City Municipality, OR Tambo, must implement the measures that have been put by the public protector. I think that we are on record about that. But the second issue is that those that want a review, court review, must do them as an individual. In order to take those particular matters for a court review. Now, what does that mean? It means if Helen August Sauls is personally implicated in the wrongdoing, she must herself approach courts of law in order to seek review about those particular matters that relates to the Nelson Mandela, not for us to use the government positions and state resources in order to seek those particular reviews. I think that is in the interest of the public of South Africa, that particular matter must be concluded as a matter of urgency without any undue delay. So that is where we are in respect of that particular matter. We have also said, abantu uba kukho companies involved phaya mazithathwe zimangalelwe ngurhulumente ezinkundleni. So those such matters insofar as the criminal investigation prefer criminal charges against them, government should be active, because we have agreed as the ANC that we should have an activist government that fights fraud and corruption. And what we say by mouth must be seen in action. So we expect that all those that are leading the government should be actively going to the police stations, police stations, wrongdoing. We know that the Mandela scandal is explicit about those individuals that are appointed, explicit about the companies that are involved in the abuse of the Nelson Mandela funeral for selfish, devious means. So we are there in respect of that, including those that are members of the ANC. The Integrity Commission will also be charged by the African National Congress to take that particular matter up. Those individuals involved will subject them into the ANC Integrity Commission. This is in line with what we have done also in the BCM, where the BCM councillors were subjected to a Provincial Integrity Commission. Akum to Fanbapa Abbey immune in a position that he holds in government and also in the African National Congress. So we will act consistent with what we have done previously so far as that particular matter. So we campaign including taking action as the African National Congress so that it can be concluded as a matter of grave urgency. I think that's that.
Thank you, Secretary. We will now take this opportunity to afford yourselves time for questions and clarities, of course. Unless we begay. All right. I have only one hand raised. 2, 3. That's 3. We're fine. Let's go then.
Mianga Funani from SABC Radio News. Secretary, you are not reshuffling, but you are sending names to the NEC. Is that what you're saying?
You want him to respond afterwards? We're going to take all of that. Or you have a follow-up question?
No.
You don't have a follow-up? All right, okay. Number 2?
From Isolezwe. The buza apha kuwena obhala nakwizigqiba sakho siyayiqonda uba kwiiveki ezimbalwa ezizayo there will be state of the province address and sowutshilo ukubana kukho ukungahambisani okanye kungasebenzisani kakuhle phakathi kwe-PEC ne-provincial government. Are you being updated the office of the premier about mhlawumbi zeziphi into azawunyathela kuzo, because we believe that isoba it looks for a year ahead. So are you being updated? And also kuku section 1391C oye avumele MEC to take over okanye mhlawumbi appoint administrator komasipala. I know ukuthi komasipala endizawungenela kubo which are 4, and what I'm trying to check is that mhlawumbi xa ndithini ndizawungenelela political, because I believe komasipala bafana nomnquma. You find that even the administration inkathazo nje. So what are you going to do? Are you going to take over political, or are you going to speak to MEC of a quarter, of which in turn funeka no provincial government to make it appoint administrator and order?
Thank you.
Just clarification questions, Mandela, from your side on the issue of South Africans. You are making reference about the call by South Africans when it comes to the issue of residency. What do you mean by that? What is that called? Then the other clarity is on the integrity commission, the cases that were not finalized, most probably. Which ones are those?
Thank you. Is that it? Oh, okay. Yes.
Also, are there any time frames on the working committee to finish its work in terms of reconfiguring the provincial government?
That's it, Secretary. Can we then hand over to you? And then we'll, of course, if there's a need, Deputy Secretary to come on board, and then we'll respond to the questions.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think let me deal with the issue of the local municipality. I think there are 2 processes which the PEC was quite clear on. Firstly, we support the proposals that the MEC of Kokta is making in terms of interventions into those municipalities, because that is in terms of the framework and the powers of the MEC. So we are in full support of the action that the MEC wants to take with respect to those municipalities. The second aspect is our own role and responsibility as the PEC in terms of the Constitution to make sure that we take over those caucuses and the functioning and the assessment of those caucuses, so that our deployees that have been voted in by the people deals with the issues of service delivery. They make sure there's a stable and a corrupt-free government, and that we function there, because there are ratepayers that we are accountable to. So I think those are the 2 processes that have emerged from the possibly from our PEC.
All right, a very good afternoon. We've just brought you live visuals straight from the Eastern Cape, where the ANC was briefing the media on a range of issues, but mainly that, of course, the breaking news there that they will be shuffling the provincial government very soon. Let's take a quick ad break now, and we're back on top of the hour with the full bulletin.